later, it's worth like a fourplex. I own a 7-unit, but a fourplex down the street is being listed for sale for $2.2 million. So potentially my property is worth $3.5 million, and I bought it for $335,000. Now, I'm not saying all deals are going to be that good, because they're not. I've been very blessed. I'm very good at picking great deals, great locations. I've been very fortunate, and thank God. But the point is, if you know a great location is a great location, it's going to be great on all times. And there's always going to be someone wanting to rent it if you buy a great location. So you're going to make money all the time, and you're going to be able to make your wealth over time. Doesn't matter if there's a blip down as it comes back up.
Can you read the Cook 34?
Cook 34. The one that says Donnie? Okay, at Donnie, paying into a house for 4 years, then selling it is better than paying rent and losing that money in most cases. So, Cook, you are right. In most cases, on average, that's a good idea. Now, the point of that, though, is that what I want to point to is a warning. Sometimes if you buy the house on the top of the market and 4 years later you sell it and the market dipped, you did not pay down the equity that much. So the equity that you've paid down the loan the first 10 years barely touches the principal. So in the sense of saving money on rent, yes, a lot of the times the cost to own a home is less than rent. So if you account for that, that's a lot of savings. But in rare situations when the market tanks, you could be selling your home for less than what you bought it for 4 years later. So always keep in mind, real estate is a long-term play. Your time horizon has to be 5, 10, 15 plus years. Otherwise, you have short-term risk. But because every property I buy, I plan to own it forever, I don't have that risk. I don't have the short-term risk exposure. Because what does it matter what it's worth if you're never planning to sell? What matters is, am I bringing in money? Is a rent coming in? And that's why location is key.
Question here. Is it better to take a 70% HELOC rather than an 80% to avoid my credit line from being frozen during an economic downturn?
During an economic downturn, they were freezing. My dad had a HELOC, and it was, I think, $150,000, and they dropped it down to $40K. So during an economic downturn, you having that little 10% equity isn't going to make much of a difference. The second you start seeing things going down, pull the equity out, pull the cash out. Because even if they shut it down, you already have the cash. All they can do is tell you that, hey, you can't take any more money back, and every payment you make, you can't actually take out anything extra. You can only make payments. You can't withdraw any extra funds. So what does it matter? You already took all the money out. And now you have cash when other people don't.
Is it true that buying a fixer-upper is better than buying a full-ready remodeled property?
Not necessarily, because a lot of the deals, I look at like 1,000 deals, and I'm not being facetious when I'm saying this. I literally look at 1,000 deals before I buy one. So when people tell me about a deal, I can normally tell them all the details about the property that's for sale in this market because I already looked at it, ran the numbers, got an idea, and determined I don't like it. When you look at most of the opportunities where you have a property that has not been remodeled and needs to be remodeled, most of the time in the current market, by the time you purchase it and remodel it, it's actually more than if you bought something already remodeled. So you have to be conscious about running your numbers to see what is the best. But the warning also is if you buy something that's remodeled, make sure you double check everything that was done. Because many times people will put just lipstick on a pig and there's still major issues that need to be handled behind the wall that you can't see. So make sure you get an inspection, have someone that knows what they're doing, look at the property. And that's where there's people who make lots of money in real estate and people who don't. Because the more that you know, the more you study your market, the more you study what type of real estate's for sale and potential issues that come up, and you checking to make sure that those are already been resolved. Otherwise, if the last owner didn't resolve it, you're going to have to resolve it. That's what determines who's profitable. The people who study the market, know what's a good deal in a certain area, and know what needs to be fixed to resolve the issue before it becomes a major problem. Lots of little details that can make lots of profit or lots of losses. So be conscious, be careful.
That was a good question, Mike. Thanks.
HH says old multi-units in St. Pete. Yes, I'm buying old multi-units in St. Pete, but in specific areas, not just like anywhere in St. Pete. In specific areas for a certain price point, I am buying them. So build multi-unit instead of buying pre-existing. Yeah, if you can build multi-units instead of buying pre-existing and the price is the same as something that's existing, yeah, build a new one, get lower insurance, make it super energy efficient, and you're going to have no issues for many years. Now, since that's hard to do, because if I bulldoze one of my buildings that I purchased and try to build a brand new one, the issue is one, the cost is too high to do that because our entry point is too high. But two, you'll lose unit count. The city won't allow you to put back what was there. So because of that, I end up just remodeling what's there. And when I buy them, I usually gut everything and remodel everything. So it's as if it's like a brand new house. Roof, electrical, plumbing, AC, insulation, drywall, kitchens, bathrooms, flooring, paint, Cat 6 wiring, coax cable, cameras, everything is done like a brand new home and like a high-end property, water filtration, water softening system, everything. This way, I don't have any issues for 15 or 20 years, and it's very energy efficient and reliable. So if you can't build new, then make your property like new, is my strategy.
Or spend on the front end, save on the back end.
Invest in the front end, save on the back end, make a lot of money. And remember, if you're doing that, just think about it. If you buy a property for $880, so $900, I bought a property for $900, we're going to put in roughly say $300. So we're in for $1.2 million. We're going to do that all up front and bundle that into the mortgage. The payment, on average, $100,000 increase in your loan amount is roughly $400 a month. That's not a lot of money. So if I'm adding $300,000 into the $1,200 a month is not a lot of money for $300,000. So now the property is fully remodeled and it basically costs us $1,200 a month more in a mortgage payment. That is better than spending $300,000 over the next 5 to 10 years to fix a property up. Because the $30,000 a year in remodeling and maintenance costs, that's going to eat up most of your cash flow compared to $1,200 a month. And in addition to that, as you're fixing the property up piece by piece by piece, you're losing rental income because you don't have a tenant paying you rent while you're remodeling it or repairing issue after issue. Lastly, if you fully remodel the property up front, you're going to be able to get the top rental value for your property. If you just do some remodel, piece by piece by piece, you might be able to incrementally increase your rent, but not truly enough to make a significant impact on your pro forma and on your profit. So at the end of the day, when you actually go through the process, so many headaches with tenants, so many times that your property is left empty, and you have so many issues, and not because you don't have any cash coming in. By doing it up front, it is just so much easier, so much more profit, easier to burr the property. It's just so much better. It is harder, but it's better.
What do you recommend starting out in an investment property? 1, buy several properties slowly with loans, or 2, buy few properties outright, no mortgage.
The reason Robert Kiyosaki invested in real estate is one reason. Because he can get loans. So if you're thinking about investing in real estate without getting loans, you're missing the point. The American dollar loses value at least 2% a year. The reality is it's been averaging more than 3% a year. And in this last year, the purchasing power of the dollar has gone down at least 7%. And that's the estimate from conservative government agencies. But in the reality, we've seen at least, in my opinion, I've seen at least 11% inflation. That means the purchasing power of your dollar has gone down 11%, which means if this year a car cost you $100,000, next year the car will cost you $111,000 for the same car. When you get a loan, you are shorting the dollar. You guys don't know what shorting is? Google how to short stocks. When you're shorting the dollar, you are making money as the price of the dollar falls. How do we know it's going to fall? Because no matter who is in government, who's the president, if it's a Democrat or Republican, they spend more money, they print more money, they devaluate the currency, which causes the dollar to fall, which means shorting the dollar has been a consistent win for the last 40 years. In that scenario, you're winning money by shorting the dollar when you get a loan on a piece of real estate, plus you're winning on a piece of real estate as the asset value increases. Why does asset values increase so much in real estate? 1, the supply of real estate has been diminishing compared to the demand. There's not enough housing in this country. We're roughly 3 million housing units short from what's needed. 2, the dollar keeps being devaluated, which makes all assets worth more. If they did not devaluate our currency, the real estate prices would be roughly the same. You'd be just making your money off of the rents. The rental margin would be a lot fatter. Just like in 1980, they were running the margins on real estate were like 18%. Today, if you get 6%, that's good in a good market. So you have to play the full game and look at the full picture to win. And then to answer your question, I would basically do exactly what I did, except be more confident. I wouldn't have bought a duplex on my first deal. I would have bought a fourplex. I would have gone bigger because the return on investment is so much more. And the work that it takes, the energy it takes to do the deal isn't that much more.
Question here. Do you or your team do private lending other than accredited investors?
So those are two very different questions. So private lending, 1, are you asking, do we get private loans or do we give private loans?
Yeah.
Part 2, other than accredited investors, what does that mean? An accredited investor is an investment partner. They put their money with us as we go and buy more properties. So
maybe asking about syndication.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. No, accredited investors do syndications.
Right. So
which is like
asking, do you do both with because you have your mortgage?
Yeah, I do have a mortgage company, but our mortgage, I don't think he's asking, okay, so, because you're asking me 1, do people invest with me? And then 2, do I give loans? Why would you ask an or question? I do both.
There you go. Maybe that's the question.
But no, it's not logical. I don't
Hey,
get
you should join us
Yeah. Join me
Dude.
live so we can actually go back and forth. The point is, one, do we give loans? Yes, we do. We do provide lending for investors. So we're full service. I have an accounting firm that the focus is on high net worth individuals, companies, and real estate investors. We have an insurance agency that does the same thing. We provide insurance for the rental property, for people's personal homes or cars, umbrella policies, GL for companies, and we also do the mortgages, 1 to 4 family purchases for individuals and for landlords. Now we have another side of the business. I have a real estate investment company. I buy properties. People approach me and ask to invest with me. And if we hit it off, we have a good relationship. I let them partner with me on deals. They put their money together. I put my money together. And then we go and get a bank loan. And the bank will give me additional money to purchase and remodel a property. So in the example where we bought a property for $900,000 and did $300,000 in remodel, the total is $1.2 million. We only needed to raise 25% down plus cover the closing costs and have a little bit of cash on the side for incidentals in case things cost more than expected. But the point is, the bank is funding our rental budget, and I get a 4.5% interest rate. So I get a great deal from the bank on a remodel loan, and I bundle my cash together with investors. So we're able to pull a very high return on investment since we don't have to front all of the remodel budget out of pocket, and we're not getting a hard money loan that's like 10, 12, 15% or a bridge loan. We're getting our loans at like 4.5%. So we're getting great deals. So that's been really helping our profitability as well.
We have a question here on YouTube. Daniel's asking, do you think Jacksonville, or what do you think of Jacksonville, or what place is good in Florida for real estate investing?
Jacksonville is nice. It's still growing. Personally, I don't know. I'm not that impressed with the market. I really love the Tampa market, and there's so much potential here. I think Tampa is going to be like another, New York. So
Why?
One, we have so many financial services sectors coming down here. Like a lot of businesses are coming down, big businesses.
Goldman Sachs.
I mean, we have Raymond James.
Mm-hmm.
We have Bank of America, Chase, Citigroup, Wells Fargo. Like they're all bringing centers down here. We're not that far from Sarasota and Naples, which is like big money, big old money. We have that.
And I have a friend too who's a job recruiter. She can't let me know what companies, but there are tech companies establishing a home here in Tampa.
So yeah, that's another thing. Like it's not well known yet, but Tampa Bay is expected to be the next bay, like San Francisco Bay and Tokyo Bay. So it's gonna be another tech bay. So
not to mention Buccaneers, Super Bowl.
Yeah. So the other thing is like actually one of my mentors is a tech mentor, right?
Mm-hmm.
He has a tech company. He lives down the street from me. He's in my neighborhood. He has his office is on US 19.
Sean?
No, George.
Oh, okay.
George.
Dope.
So, but Sean works from home for a tech company.
Yeah.
And many other VPs work from home for their tech company. They live in Palm Harbor. They buy a nice big house and they work from home and they make 6 figures and, do it all from Zoom. So a lot of people are coming down, and most of my Airbnbs are being rented from people coming from San Francisco and working, out of the 2-bedroom Airbnb by the water. So it's a lot of opportunities here, and the potential is just awesome. This is real. And plus, Pinellas County is the most dense county in Florida. So we already have a hub. You're not really building it out. It's already built. It's just getting stronger. Right now in my market, it's not like we're filling in the gaps. There's really not many gaps at all. Like it's really hard to find land to build a house. They're bulldozing what's existing and building bigger. So in Pinellas County, we're actually building up. The density is getting more. The demand is becoming very high. And I have learned from my past experiences that you want to bet on winning areas Because if you're betting that one, my dad, when he moved down here from New Jersey, he bought a property in Spring Hill. He bought a gas station in Spring Hill. And they said, oh, Pinellas County is getting too full. Pretty soon people are going to start building in Pasco, and then they're going to come to, I think, Hernando, which is where Spring Hill is. It is now, it's now been like 30 years, not 30 years, 25 years. Yeah, 25 years. Spring Hill is still dead. It's been 25 years. And they said that Spring Hill is going to blow up. And it's still dead. And they're saying Pasco is going to get filled up next. It's been getting filled, but it isn't even near full. In some parts of Pasco, it's still dead. So I like betting on an area that is winning, because the strong money is like, I call it a strong hand. When an economy tanks, if you're in a great neighborhood, which people have owned the homes for a very long time, majority are long-term holders, and a lot of them paid off their home. Those are very strong hands. Good economy, bad economy, they're not selling their house. If someone passed away, it's going to be sold. Otherwise, they're not selling the house. That's why I said, when an opportunity comes to own a property in a great area, take the opportunity and buy it. Buy the property.
So that actually segues to this question on YouTube here. Someone's asking, how can I get started with real estate out of state, because California is too expensive for me, even for fourplexes or eightplexes?
Yeah, fourplexes in California are pretty expensive. I mean, a good one starts at like $2 million. But then again, the property I own in downtown St. Pete, when I'm done, it's going to be close to $2 million for that fourplex. So downtown St. Pete is already touching on Cali prices. That's like sick. I had an opportunity to buy a penthouse in downtown St. Pete. It was an older building, but it was a top floor overlooking the water. You could have bought it for $150,000 when the market tanked in 2008. Now, a penthouse in downtown St. Pete, one is listed for sale, given it's a lot nicer. But the point is, it's listed for sale at $5.7 million. Condos in downtown St. Pete are now going for $1,000 a square foot. To give you perspective, you can move to Newport Richey or Hudson and buy a home for $100 a square foot. So we have that. We just have it, right? Like, it's here, and it's only going to become more expensive. And good things are coming.
Oh, can you read that comment from HH?
You could. All right, let's do it. HH. Whoa. All right, guys. All right.
Wait, we didn't finish. Wait, hold on. Before we go to HH, we didn't finish Partik's question. So it's, how can he invest in real estate out of state?
So there's simplest ways to partner with someone, right? Like, we have a lot of out-of-state investors from New York and California. They invest with us because we get them big tax write-offs. When we do a syndication, we get significant tax write-offs, and that helps reduce their earned income and reduces their tax liability. So it helps them get a higher return, because if you get tax write-offs year one, and you save money on taxes, that kind of helps you reduce your basis in the real estate deals. Your ROI is higher. Two, you can find a partner in another state and partner with them that way, not maybe through a syndication, but just more like a smaller deal. You got to make sure you got a good partner and knows what they're doing. Three, you can get a real estate agent to help you find a property to buy in this market or in a market outside of California. But you have to make sure, one, you find a real estate agent that knows what they're doing. Most real estate agents do not understand investing. They know how to sell you a house. So they're not going to really be able to tell you what's a great real estate deal. 99.9% of real estate agents don't even have any investment properties. So it's hard for them to tell you what's good if they don't have any themselves. Part 2, you then have to find a real estate agent that's good at managing the property. Different skill set. Part 3, if you're planning to Airbnb, like us, we do half Airbnb, half annual, to have a blended income so we can have consistent income coming in. The agent that can do Airbnbs cannot do annual rental. It's a different skill set. They might be able to do, but it's unlikely for the person to have both skill sets. So what it would be is study the market, find a good partner, find a good agent to buy the property, find a good real estate agent to manage the property. And once you do all of those, you should have a great thing on your hands. The other problem is if you don't partner with somebody, the problem is like when I find a deal, it's purchased the same day. The same day I took it. So if you don't have a connection with someone that's on it and this is what they do, you're not going to get the opportunities. They're going to slip by. And you're like, oh man, I missed all these great opportunities. You're going to end up buying something that's like an okay deal. But sometimes an okay deal in another state is better than a decent deal in California or a good deal in California because these other states are landlord friendly and have probably a higher potential of appreciation.
And do you have to be an accredited investor to do any of this?
You don't have to. Like, for example, some of the people that invest with me are not accredited investors, but we have a pre-existing relationship. I do their taxes or did their mortgage or did their insurance or I advised them multiple times before where they paid for consulting with me. So I have a relationship with them beforehand, and after having a number of interactions, you have in a relationship where you can invest even though you're not accredited. So there is that opportunity. But normally the minimum an person invests with me is like $50,000, but my average investor puts in $300,000 to $500,000. So we get very good tax write-offs. So they like investing a lot, so they can get a significant amount of tax write-offs.
Cool. Partik says, I'm just getting started. I'm 21 right now, but hopefully we can have a relationship with a future deal. Champagne toast.
Cheers.
So you want to go with HH there? He just reworded that question when he was asking the lending versus.
Okay. I had to pull over. I had to reword that. Sorry about that. Just meant private money, hard money, not 506. So the thing is, I do both, right? Like I get a bank loan that covers the remodel, and I partner with people. Now I'm not doing 506s. These are little partnerships. They are part owner of every property that I buy. So they're not an investor, they're a partner. I actually haven't done a 506 yet. So when someone wants to partner with me, we have an interview. We get to know each other and we understand, and they become an actual partner in the deal. They interact with the deal, they have a say, and what their say is considered in my deal. This is different than give me your money and sit back. Now, if a person wants to do that, there's some people that do that, but there's some people that are like, tell me what's going on. What are your plans? How are you going to do it? And that's how it's a partnership. So, but again, I do both. Even if I do 506s, I'm still going to do both, because if you can do a 506 and take no bank debt at all, or you can do all by yourself and get bank debt and have no partners, or you can do last, which is what I'm doing, which is taking debt and partners, so our ROI is very high.
Someone wants to go live with you, so we're waiting for that connection.
HH says, it says St. Pete's on fire.
And he also says, might have to start the relationship with your CPA then.
Yeah, might have to start a relationship with our company.
So this is...
What's up, buddy? How are you?
How you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Good. It's been a while. I've been trying to get on a few times, but just hasn't gotten the connection and all that stuff. But I'm glad to finally get live with you.
Awesome,
We're glad
awesome.
too.
So I'm from Pennsylvania. I do a lot of investing. I've been helping my dad up in Maine. It's a different market. It's in a capital called Augusta. We've been a little aggressive up there, but I haven't been able to get my own purchasing power yet. I actually just quit my job. Probably should have waited a while until I got my mortgage and all that stuff.
Yes, you should have waited to get your mortgage first before quitting. Yeah, that's a good idea.
It kept me from really taking the leaps that I needed to start my business, get my feet off the ground, stuff like that. I have probably a million questions, but one of the most important is probably if I came down, offered free services, could I potentially get a chance to work for you, do whatever I can, clean Airbnbs, do whatever, just to learn a little bit and help you out?
So the answer is yes. I am open to having people work with me, and we all figure out what is their skill set and how can they help.
Definitely.
Right? Because there needs to be something they can do. Go ahead.
So I did modular home property management for the past 6 years. I did 880 home sites, ranging from emergency water leaks and street light repairs, tenant disputes, and everything in between. So I have a little bit of knowledge, but I don't know the back end as much. I don't know the insurance. I don't know the taxes. I don't know the more in-office stuff.
So let me tell you this: you don't need to know. You don't really need to know that, right? Like I'm being real with you. Like you really don't need to know that. And actually, it can hurt you by knowing too much, right? The thing is, like I know a lot, which has actually held me back a little bit. It held me back because I ended up doing everything. So now I don't do as much.
Yeah.
I get team members to do those parts for me. So now if you came and shadowed me today, you're going to see that I have a manager for each section of the business, and they're accountable for what they're doing, and I only oversee what they're doing. Because when I used to know everything, I used to do everything, and I still get involved with so much that's keeping me from scaling. So
Yes.
you have a skill set, and you can still use that skill set for what you're doing. But the best skill set to have is the ability to manage people and manage the process and having faith in your team to accomplish the goal for you. Like I have Hannah, she's my social media manager. It's the faith of Hannah's going to take care of this for me. I don't worry about this. She's going to manage this for me, and I can focus on other stuff.
Though I may fumble, you have been gracious and patient.
So, and we're all getting better, right? We're all getting better. We're all trying to improve, and we're all trying to get 10, 20 times better than we were because we know we're trying to outperform at the top, highest level possible. So we're going to have that push we're going to be going for. But to answer your question, yeah, a person can come and work down here as long as, they provide value, and they can obviously, how I learned is I worked for people and I didn't get paid a lot of money, or sometimes I did stuff for free, and I watched everything that was being done, and I was able to process what's happening and understand little things along the way. And I did I do really good stuff for them, and they had appreciation for me. I would work 60, 100 hours to get something done for them because they needed it done right away because they had to do a refinance. So I had to do all the bookkeeping and get it done. Or I was managing a remodel because they had to get it finished to rent it out. So there's always somewhere, like where can you provide value? And as you're providing value, you're learning along the way. Hannah's doing all of this social stuff for me, but along the way, she's learning all of this personal finance stuff that she's like, I didn't know this, So
where you can ask any one of my friends, I always say that, like, where can I provide value? What can I do to help? Just because I'm calling my company Next Work, because everybody in my network does one thing or another, and the combination of all of us can get everything done. I've got contractors and real estate agents and stuff like that in my immediate network, but now it's trying to branch and grow and meet new people and learn more. But I definitely get that where it's, learning to delegate is way better than learning to learn.
The network
Yes.
events.
And
The network events.
yeah, I mean, he's doing that. He already has connections. He has a network events. It sounds like right now. So I have a client that I'm signing on now, and he owns like 65 units in PA. And
oh, great.
yeah, so he has like 65 units, and he's like doing very well for himself. We actually had a phone call at like 5 or 6 o'clock about his taxes because he needs to get that in order. And he's like, basically, I have 65 units and I can't grow. And I said, well, I looked at your stuff and basically it looked like you grew a lot, but now you're only able to grow a small amount. And the simple answer is you don't have your taxes in order. You don't have your books in order. You didn't set up your LLCs in such a way where you have protection and are able to grow and get more funding.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of things, again, when you have a great team that's able to manage and give you good advice, that also is going to help you grow, because just because you're great at construction and managing a project and doing this and that doesn't mean you're going to be great at setting up your finances and understanding how every single year the tax law changes, and every single year, actually every quarter, the bank's guidelines can change. So you have to be able to meet their needs and make yourself look good so they can say yes to your loans. So, and the thing is, if you try to do that, there's no efficiency of scale. That's why you get a professional that knows what they're doing, that it specializes. That's why I specialize in high net worth and real estate investors. I'm not after everybody in the world.
Regular Joe Schmo,
yeah, like
it's specifying your market to exactly what you're looking for.
So exactly who we can help the most. I have a skill set. I have a very specific, high-level skill set, and I focus on who can I help the most. I'm not going to go to the guy who owns a pizza shop that's small. Small mom-and-pop pizza shop, small mom-and-pop convenience store, I can't really help you. I can do your stuff. But the position you're in, the advice I'm going to give you, you're probably not going to take it. It's sad to say, they're probably not going to listen to me. They want to do things their own way, and that's fine for them. But since you're not going to listen to me, you're not going to get the benefits that I offer. So,
like you said, the efficiency of scale.
Efficiency is, it's not just scale, but it's the mind. So now I'm talking about something different. It's mindset. Mm-hmm. Now with the guy who owns 12 pizza shops, he has a different mindset. He has to understand managers, roles, teamwork. So when I come and I do my analysis and I tell them how to change things and how to improve and how to increase profitability and reduce his taxes and different investment strategies to diversify his income, that guy is going to listen because he knows, wow, this guy knows what he's talking about. He's helping me become better, and I'm going to take the advice. So when they take the advice, they get the tax savings, which justifies how much money they pay me. They take the advice, they invest and make their return, which justifies the price that they pay me. But if you're that's why I target individuals that really need help, either saving taxes or making more money.
Yeah.
So because when I do that, my value is there. In the past, I would give value and time to people that couldn't comprehend what
compensate you for.
You wouldn't even if they did kind of compensate me, like, because again, we don't charge a lot. The CPA firm down the street from us charges 3 times what we charge. So we're not charging a lot. People from California have their taxes done with me. I saved them a crazy, like this one guy I just did, his name is Sean. I did his taxes last year. I saved him $20,000 in taxes. Instead of paying $25,000, he only paid $5,000. I charged him the same amount as what his California CPA charged him. It wasn't.
My aunt just told me she was talking about how they paid like 90-some thousand in taxes, and I'm like, if you got one property, you could have at least cut that in a fraction and at least taken some of that off. It adds risks, but that's.
And the thing is, if it's calculated properly, it doesn't add risk. Like I give you another example. I have a green energy fund. My green energy fund, we basically we're buying machinery that cleans the equipment at oil sites, and this equipment is actually good for the environment. It scrubs out the carbon, and it pumps it back into the ground. So if someone put in $100,000 investment, they get a $200,000 tax credit. So if you're like a doctor in California or a business owner in California, and you're paying $250,000 in taxes on your $500,000 worth of profit, that $100,000 investment gets you $200,000 tax write-off, which means you're going to get almost $100,000 back on your taxes. So you get a 100% return on your investment just from the tax credit, tax refund, ignoring the profit on the actual investment, which is very high. So there's strategy, and there's confidence and competency and all that other stuff. So like you have to have the right team. If you have the right team, you can make a lot happen with very little.
All right, I'm definitely starting on that, and I'm getting closer. But yeah, Florida has always been on my mind. I told my dad 2 years ago when we first started, there was a couple properties in Clearwater and St. Pete that I was looking at, and we just didn't go through with it. It was a different area, but turns out they all jumped in value, and it's unfortunate, but lessons learned, and next time I'll know going with confidence.
For sure. Well,
I thank you for all the content. I definitely will. I seriously thank you for all the content. It really has taught me a lot in the past year and a half that I've watched. So
awesome.
Thank you.
It's good talking to you. I'll see you again next week. God bless.
Yeah.
For your questions.
Enjoy your day.
You too.
Maria is on.
Maria. Awesome. Where's she at?
We're just waiting for her. In the meantime, can you answer this question here? How do you find the cap rate of your neighborhood?
So basically, how you find out the cap rate? There's going to be an advertised cap rate, and then the actual cap rate, because people will give you cap rates based off of pro forma, which is not real. You have to really figure out what is a true cap rate based off of the sale price, the current sale price, and the current net income, but do not include the loan payment or the interest payment. That's how you determine the cap rate. And then based off of that, it doesn't really matter what you buy the property for in the sense of what the current cap rate is. What matters is what can you make the rents go up to. Because then if you can make the rents go up a lot and you take that new net income number, that higher number, divide it by the current cap rate, that will show you your new property value. That will show you all the potential profit you can make in a deal.
Hey, Maria.
How are you?
Good.
Awesome. So what questions do you have for us today?
Me?
Yeah, right. Hey.
Oh, you can hear me. Oh my goodness. Okay, hi. I'm in California, and I own my home, and I've been listening to you for a while, and I want to buy a duplex.
Awesome.
My question is it's really hard to find off-market properties. I feel that I'm new to this, and I don't know how to really go and search for the properties. I signed up to PropStream, which is you could look at foreclosures and bank owned and those types of properties. What do you recommend doing?
So to be honest with you, most of the properties I've purchased were on the MLS. I have purchased a few properties off market, but most of them I bought them on MLS. What I do is I look for a property that is currently being rented.
In distress?
It doesn't have to be in distress. The owner doesn't have to be distressed, anything, but it's not being optimized. You're not getting the most return. For example, I bought a property where some people would find very expensive. I bought a triplex for $750,000 and a quadplex next door for $880,000. And many people would think that's very expensive for my market. But I saw that it was one block from the water And if I do a full remodel, A to Z, I could basically double the rents that are in there right now. And based off of me doubling the rents, the property value will be worth so much more. So it doesn't matter the fact that I paid the highest price ever in that neighborhood for a multi-unit. I know that once I double all the rents, that net income based off of the standard cap rate in that area, the property value is going to be worth way more. So I bought it for $880, put in, so we'll say $900. I put in $300,000. I'm at $1.2 million. By the time we're done with the renovation, it should easily be worth $1.8 million, if not more. So at that point, I can do a cash out refi. I bird a multi-unit property, and I have all my cash, and I'm still bringing in income. That's basically what I do with my real estate investment company. We buy a whole bunch of these properties and apply that strategy and be able to basically pull all of our equity account, make distributions back to the investors, and basically ride on house money. No money in the deal.
But do you recommend using a hard money loan lender instead of using your own money? I've been listening to a lot of these master classes on, different ways of buying property. Like say you buy a duplex, you get a hard money loan, you go in there, you fix it. You could actually then refinance it after you fix it up and get out of the hard money loan after you've improved it.
So that is a strategy, and I've used that strategy before. The type of loan you use is a tool. There's many ways you can put up a wall, right? What's going to work for you? What's going to work for your situation? So the issue with the hard money loan, do I use hard money loans? Yes. The issue with hard money loans is if the market tanks, you're not going to be able to refinance. You won't be able to refinance.
Right.
So if you have the ability to do it and you're going to do it, I'm not saying don't. I'm saying keep in mind, if you have other options, you might want to go with another option. For example, I go and get a commercial loan for my purchase plus remodel, and I get a 4.5% interest rate with 2 years interest only or a 1 year interest only. And it's amortized over 25 years with 5 years fixed interest and then another 5-year period after that. So if the market tanks, I'm still in a good loan with a good interest rate that's going to readjust. I'm still safe. So if you're able to get a loan to purchase the multi-unit, put down 20%, put the money out of pocket for the remodel or on credit cards, and then after everything's finished, you go and do a cash out refinance, pay off the first mortgage, the first 30-year fixed rate mortgage you got, and you pay off your credit card. You could also do that. There's many ways you can do it. And depending on how your finances are set up, the better it's set up, the more conservative your options are. When they're not set up the best, then you have to go to hard money loans. Those are basically your only option. You're going to have to pay 8 to 15% interest with 2 to 3 points up front. And normally you have to get the remodel done within 6 to 12 months. Otherwise, you're going to have another fee that you'll have to pay to extend the loan. But yeah, basically look for a property in a good area that you can increase the property values. Even if it hits the market, it can still be, meaning even if it's on the MLS, you can still find a good deal. You just have to really know your market. You have to really know what everything's worth. You have to know what the rents can become. You have to study your market. And then you can get these deals before anybody else buys them.
You do loans in California, right?
Yes.
I heard you say you were opening up.
Yes, I have partners that do loans in California as well, yeah. And we can help with that.
Because I'm actually going there to see my cousin in Miami.
Feel free to
You
come
have
in.
an office, would love to go set up an appointment and meet with you.
Yeah, well, you're welcome to come and visit me in Tampa. I'll show you my properties. I'll show you. You'll get to meet everybody in each division. Everybody's in one location. Mortgage, taxes, insurance. We do have some people that work from home, and we do have some people that work in California. But a majority of people work in the office. This way, we can have things turned around really fast.
Okay. Well, I would like to do that because I'm going for a week to Miami. I know you're not in that. You're on the opposite side, right? You're on the other side.
We're in Tampa.
Florida.
Yeah.
Tampa. Okay. Okay. All right. I'll give somebody else an opportunity to ask you questions. But thank you so much. I listen to you all the time, and I'm learning a lot.
Awesome. We're gonna be
And I
coming
want
out
to
with
duplicate what you do.
we're gonna be coming out with a podcast soon, and that's gonna really help when people are like driving to listen. A lot of good content coming.
Okay.
Awesome. It sounds like we're breaking up. But you have a great day.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You too. Thank you.
Let's get to the next question.
It doesn't let us close.
I think you can close. You hit a button, hit end. Oh, well, there we go. That's funny.
Marie doesn't let me. Marie, we're not. Close the.
Can I close it or not?
It's not closing. There's no
It's all right.
for me.
Well, go ahead, buddy. What's your question?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you.
It's been a while since I've talked to you.
I think
Nice
so.
seeing you
You're
again.
out of California, Canada, right?
I'm in Canada right now, but I live in Atlanta. So,
Awesome.
but you got the Canada. I don't know how, but you got it. That's awesome.
And I know you're from you have Lebanese descent.
Yes, I'm Lebanese. I'm the app developer.
Yep.
That's when we were talking.
I remember you. I have a pretty good memory.
No, it's okay, man. You're a very busy person, so it's perfectly fine. I wanted to ask you. I have 3 questions, but I'll start with the most important one. When you look at a property, how do you tell what the zoning and what you can do? Like, if you can turn a property to a duplex or a triplex or a quadplex, how do you figure that part out?
So one,
I don't know if there's a certain
yeah. So
that's my first question.
there's one. You have to go on a county level to see what the county says is possible, and then you're gonna have to go on the city level to see what is possible.
Oh, so you just contact the city and the county.
Yes, and there's different areas, websites, things you can do some research on, see what the zoning is currently, and you can also see if there can be changed. Sometimes it can be changed. So, and also you got to think is what's in it for the city to help you, to make a change. So, for example, I'm buying an ALF, and I'm converting the ALF into 5 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartments, and we're going to make a good amount of money doing that. What's in it for the city? Well, city, if you let us do this, we're going to be able to increase apartments. There's more housing available. 2, someone else is going to bulldoze this property and build 2 single-family homes. And now you're going to lose a historic building, or a building that is considered historic, but not designated historic.
Okay, so I have 2 questions. I'm sorry for asking. What is exactly an ALF?
Assisted living facility, like a retirement home.
Okay. And when you communicate to the city, how do you just start a conference? Just call the county and just dig from there, and one person to the other asking questions. Okay,
When you start, it's going to be that way. Eventually, you're going to know exactly where to look. So when I go, I know where to look because this is my market. So I know what website to go on. I know where to look a little bit, and then I know kind of where to start the conversation. and who can guide me in the right direction of who I should talk to regarding different options and ideas I'm thinking about. And you just start digging.
Is there a way to do it where you can like ask them about, like, let's say zoning, and they'll tell you, okay, this area you can split the zoning, or do you have to go from property and then like have a property in hand and then go from there and be like, okay, hey, is this property allowed to be converted to a triplex or a quadplex?
Zoning map?
Is there like an easier way to target these areas, or do you have to go from the home upwards?
So it's yes and no. It's
Okay.
yes and no, right? So it's like, let's just say yes, in the sense of on the county level, you can see what the map shows and what each land is designated. So the land is designated a certain code, and that code could be no more than 15 units per acre. So
Okay.
that's a certain zoning. But then the city could say no more than one house per lot. But a lot could be an acre. So now, which is it? And then you could find a way where you buy the house, you bulldoze it, and you have the county split it into 4 lots. So now you have 4 lots on the land,
On
and
that
you
1
build
acre.
on the but now it's 4 houses.
Okay.
So there's like so many angles. There's actually engineering firms that are like, they're more like, a lot of engineers are like low risk. So what they do is they'll get the property under contract. They'll do all the paperwork. Their firm will do all the paperwork, get everything up, get it approved for everything, rezoning and more units, and to build 4 houses. And then they'll sell this package to a GC, all done. This whole thing while it's under contract. General contractor. So they'll sell the package to the general contractor before they even really take ownership. They just locked it up in escrow and did all the work. So there's that. There's also another thing. I buy properties in areas that the city designates it different than the county, and the city enforces rules, not the county. So I get more use out of the property because of the city's designation. I also bought properties that I thought should be commercial. When I was younger, I bought properties, I was like, this should be commercial. This doesn't make any sense if it's residential. And this neighborhood is awesome, like this area. Lots of restaurants, by the water. I think one day people are really going to appreciate and value this area. Well, I was right. People really did value the area. And eventually, I think like 5 years after I bought the property, I received a letter from the city saying they're going to change the zoning on their own for this property. And it became downtown medium density core land, which skyrocketed my property's value. But the house 3 doors over doesn't have the designation, and they're like half the value. So you really have to know, and you have to be like surgically good when you're picking a property, like to pluck out the one that's good and get the value for it.
That comes only with experience. You have a lot of experience.
Experience and
it's a gut feeling.
Losses and punches in the face and whatever. I said, look, help me with my app and I'll help you. Help me, help you, help me.
I got you.
Yeah.
You have to read. We talk. I'll go offline and continue that conversation.
And actually, I have a CEO that I'm looking to add to the app, and he's also Siriani. So maybe we have a nice Siriani team.
Yes, and I'm still on board on that.
I think he's getting a phone call.
Okay.
There.
Yeah, I got a phone call. Okay, let me ask you my second question. I'm still in to do the app. I like I mentioned to you before. I'm extremely senior, so I'm architect level, so I can help design and all that stuff. But we're gonna need just other people to do the coding because time is.
So I got a guy that wants to join the team. I'm actually having a meeting with him tomorrow. The app meeting is tomorrow from like 12:15 my time to 1:45 my time, and we're going to be talking about the app and ideas and so on, how to set it up, and he's going to be building it out. And so we're taking a step forwards, but yeah, DM me, and we'll talk more about, you know, the ideas and so on.
100%. Okay.
So what's your
Next
second
one
question?
question was about my accountant told me that I can turn my Airbnb into an LLC and use the home depreciation for write-off. I'm not sure
Who told you that? Your
how
accountant?
much I trust that.
Your accountant told you
And
that?
a accountant, not my accountant.
A
accountant.
So-
An accountant.
So hypothetically speaking, yeah, that's accurate. But the question is, so the first of all, are you in Canada or are you in America? This is in America.
I'm in America right now. I'm in Canada right
The
now.
property.
My Airbnb is in America.
The property's in America. Okay.
Right
So-
now, I have a wedding, so that's why I'm in Canada. I'm next to a shawarma store too, so
Well,
I'm about
get
to
me
go
some,
eat
I'm
shawarma
hungry.
after this.
So regarding that, as a primary residence, you're not supposed to depreciate your primary residence. Okay?
I figured that.
But in the example of, let's say, a duplex, you can detach a portion of the home that's allocated as your primary residence and a portion that's allocated as an investment property. So if you bought the home for, let's say, $500,000, your primary, the front of your house is 3/5 of it, and then the ADU is 2/5 of it. Then you could depreciate 2/5 of the property value of what you purchased it for, remodel budget and stuff like that. You could also write off any expenses associated to the Airbnb, even though it was added to your primary residence. If you did things specifically for the Airbnb, specifically for the business, you can write it off directly for the cost of the business. And that also applies if you work from home and you did something
With
to your
that,
home for your
the
work from
value
home
of the
business.
house,
Is it part of the value of the house?
you know, can depreciation screw anything up? Well, let's say
When you sell.
a year later, I want.
When you sell.
Huh?
When you sell.
It can hurt.
It can hurt
Okay,
it when
so
you sell
how?
it. Because what's going to happen is, let's just say, for example, you bought a house for $500,000 and you don't depreciate anything. It's your primary residence. And after 2 years, you sell it for $750,000. You don't have any tax owed, because if it's your primary residence, you've lived in it for 2 years, and up to $250,000 of profit, there is no tax on that. Now, if you position 40% of the home or $200,000 of the 500 as an investment, and you then depreciate that, when you sell the home, you're going to have to assign a portion of the sale to the home value, to the rental value. In your home value, you can have $250,000 up to $250,000 on that portion of it. But the portion of the building that is associated to the rental, to the business income, doesn't have the tax protection or forgiveness. And you would also have to repay the income tax or the appreciation or the difference on what you depreciated. So you'd have to catch up on that as well.
So if you stop the business for 2 years and then you just live with it regularly, it can turn back to primary, or once you go that route,
It's
you're
2 out of
done.
5 years. So the rule is 2 out of 5 years. So if you lived in the home for 2 years, rented it for another 2 years, and then sold it, you still get that tax benefit. But I'm not talking about tax benefits on the home in general. I'm talking about, you said a portion of the house is not home. A portion of the house is business. So that means you don't get that benefit. That means you would have to pay that difference. Now, if you're saying the whole house, you are no longer Airbnb-ing it for 2 years, would at that point it go back and it could be totally written off if I sold the home? The answer is yes. At that point, you should be able to do that. I will have to check on something to see if you're going to have to catch up on that depreciation you took.
Okay.
Now, when it's fully a rental property, you don't have this issue, because when you sell the property, you roll the profits into another deal, and it wouldn't matter. So it's rolled over.
Might get rid of that.
Yeah.
So the 1081. But yeah. Okay. Awesome.
Great questions. DM me. We'll catch up in person privately, and we'll figure things out.
Thank you so much. I appreciate everything, and you're awesome.
You're
And
welcome.
a blessing.
God bless.
Take care.
See you.
Bye-bye.
We have time for one question, and that question
Oof, it's late.
Yes, it is. So let's just do one more question. Jerry, she's back again. She's asking, a while back you mentioned that you had good resources to invest in gold. How can we receive more information on that?
Alrighty. Let me get my buddy's info.
Everyone came through with
So-
nice questions.
Yeah, very solid questions. Yeah. Appreciate all the love, guys. Remember, I'm not feeling the love on my posts. I'm like, no one's commenting, no one's smashing the like button. People need to learn. Smash the like button. I do appreciate it, guys. I really do appreciate all the love. And YouTube has a ton of content. Definitely check that out. To answer your gold question, www.amergold.com.
www.am as in Mary,
As in Mary, E as in egg, R as in Robert, GOLD.com. Yep, and you can buy physical gold, physical silver, and you can keep it in your possession at your home. It's a good way to, have some hard assets that you can use in case things happen. Now, if you're looking for spending silver, which means, oh my God, I'm afraid if the world ends and I need to use silver to pay for stuff, since the economy can tank and crazy stuff happens, I would buy rolls of dimes, because you can give someone a dime, which is roughly worth $2 to $3 worth of silver. So yeah, it's silver dime. One silver dime is worth $2 to $3 in silver. So you can give someone that, and it would be like enough money to buy bread.
Wow.
Because if you give them like a silver ounce, it's like $28 to $32 now, depending on the market price. You're like, well, maybe you don't need $28 worth of stuff, So it's easier to just break off throw up some dimes. Okay, here's 3 dimes. That's $9 basically. Give me some bread, some tomatoes, some cheese, and I can go home and feed my family. So it's good to have a little bit of both, because again, especially if you buy gold, just gold alone, you can't give someone like a gold coin. It's like $3,000. How much food are you gonna buy? For $3,000. So that's what gold is more like if you're planning to buy like cars and houses with it.
Okay, we got one surprise. Someone's really excited to show you their house.
All right.
So let's do that. Do they sell? Oh, really quick, while we're waiting for Nico, Jerry asked if they sell dimes in that website too.
I think they do sell loose coins as well.
Hey, Nico.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you, man? We're excited.
Yeah, I'm very excited too to see Mr. Bass.
What's up, bro? How's your duplex?
Oh, look here, man. Last live, you were doing a live. You called me on live, and we start talking. The realtor called me, and he said, Nico, what are you doing, man? And my business phone was ringing. And I said, hold on, Bess. And I wanted to put on the live with the speaker. And I messed up, and I dropped the call. So since the last time we talked here, the deal came through. And I'm right now at the house. Probably it's a long story to talk. I don't want to take much of your time there and other people. But we got the duplex. It's in a good location. Yeah. We're right in the middle of the renovation here. And it's all a mess. It's like an old house from 1940s.
Yeah.
So we stripped to the studs, partially like 60% of the house. 40% we were able to save. But so here's the first room that we have. We did some foundation right there. So we replaced, kind of even out the floors. We painted the walls, ceiling, stripped all the old doors. This here used to be like a little closet. We added a washing machine, the pipelines, the electrical, the sewer. So we transform into the place for the washing machine.
Yeah.
Here's the second room, which is just the first unit. So it's like a door to door. Actually, it shares the common walls. It's not like a separate unit. This is the living room there. Here's the mini kitchen. This is going to be the Airbnb, by the way. It's not going to be rented out. So that's got a little kitchen. And the location, like as you always speak, I don't know if you guys will able to see it this here, but can you see the lights back there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so right there is across the street. It's like literally a mile away. That's a UNT university.
Nice.
41,000 students enrolled this semester. So you can literally walk. That's the golf course right here. Right in front of the property is dark, but right here is the golf course, and right there is the athletic department, which is the football field is. So we're able to score on the location for sure. On the renovation, that's been a lot of work. Shortage of labor on the market,
100%.
short of labor, of materials. Everything's on hold. And the build, man, you gotta come and check it out. This property here, the size of the land, and I want you to call a number. Okay, this is the second portion of the property. So here's another kitchen. That's my wife there. Hey, wife, say hi. So this is the second portion. I'm not gonna go through the whole thing, but let me turn the light on. Maybe you can see it, man. You talk about location, you'll see this pimp tile location. And I want you to tell me how much you think it would be worth. So right here, we had to buy a trailer, by the way. When we moved in, we didn't have a place to stay. We bought a trailer. We put in it's right there in the back. We put in the background. And this here,
Why don't you just sleep in your Tesla?
What was that?
I said, why don't you sleep in your Tesla? It's nice.
Man, it's not that comfortable. It's comfortable to drive, but not to sleep. So right there, that's the duplex, the two houses. This is the mechanic shop, which is literally, it can be transformed into the mother-in-law's house, or like a third unit, almost like a triplex, in a way. So, quote unquote. But as of right now, it's a triplex, maybe later on. And because there is no fences here in the property, I had to put a sign, the American flag with the 12 shotgun there. No one has fence around here. I figured, hey, let me put the warning sign here, and I made my own. And back there, that is another another half acre of land. So the full length of the land, it's a 1 acre of
Nice.
land.
That's awesome.
Tell me, man, give me some numbers there, Bess. How much you think this would sound for you?
So again, I'm gonna make guesses because again, I don't know the market that well. I don't know how many square foot the property is. I'm gonna guess
2,800 square feet.
I'm gonna
Where's it
guess
located? Do you know?
it's in Texas.
Oh, it's in Texas. Where in Texas?
Denton.
What was that?
Denton.
Denton.
30 minutes away from Dallas.
Yeah,
Oh.
because I hung out with him a few times in DFW when I go to
Oh,
my events.
nice.
Yeah. So I'm gonna guess, right? Obviously, I don't know much in the condition. I'm gonna say you bought it somewhere between like $350 and $400. And I'm gonna guess your initial rental budget was probably around $60,000 to $80,000, but it's probably gonna cost you closer to like $100,000, maybe $110,000 for your rental. You were probably estimating the rents to be I'm gonna guess you're estimating the rents are gonna be like $4,000, $4,500. But if you do Airbnb, you're probably looking at bringing in like $5,000 to $6,000 if you do one Airbnb, one annual, and that's without a third unit. These are my guesses, right?
Late night guesses.
No, very, very realistic. So the
Look at
purchase
that. I don't know
price-
his market. I don't know whatever, but I have a pretty good idea about these things. So I think I've done this before.
You sure did. So the price for the purchase was $310. Okay. $310 on the purchase. So the deal is this is not like a prime neighborhood. It's a prime location, which is a little different. Prime neighborhood, 100% residential or mostly residential. It's a very quiet neighborhood, but because the university is right in front of me, it's considered more, residential / forward, a little bit of commercial because sometimes I get noises here. But the houses down the street, like 2 miles away, 400 plus. So we're able to score on the 300. But the value here, it's more on the land and the location because of the university for the B&B, for the rent arbitrage, or for even, just to rent on a regular market. Renovations, if I would renovate it the way you do, because you do, from top to bottom, and your renovations are prime, I don't do that. I don't have that kind of budget yet to do it. But if I were to do on your style, it would be $100K for renovating. So as of right now, which is not fully renovating, we're, putting 60% of renovation in the house. We're saving a couple things here and there. We didn't do the electrical, we didn't do the roofing, but we did the foundation, the floors, painting, walls, fixtures. So it's coming up to be on the budget about 60. So we're at 40 right now, and we got 20.
Let me say this. I don't know what the electrical looks like, so I don't know if it does or does not need to be redone. But it is cheaper to do it now than it is to do it later. Because if you do it now, you're not going to have to rip up your drywall later. And you don't want to have a beautiful exterior and have like aluminum wiring or bad wiring that ends up burning down your house, right? It's not going to be fun. So I don't know. Right. Maybe your wires are in good condition, right? But but if they're not, put it on your credit card and get the wiring done. Because in Florida, the roofs are extremely important because if it leaks, it's going to leak through. It's going to destroy everything you just did. So I would say double check, because if it needs to be done, do it. If it doesn't need to be done, then yeah, you can make it wait. So it's so much cheaper when the walls are open than when it's closed off.
True that. Yeah, I didn't think that way because, the main box, the main panel is brand new, probably like 2 years back, breakers, panel. However, the interior of the house, it's a little different. So the interior of the house is still from probably 1940s and 50s, the wiring.
That's a problem because what's going to happen if you have aluminum wiring that's covered in paper, See, the thing is, changing the panel costs between $1,200 to $2,000. It's not that expensive. The wiring to rewire a house, it can be like $15,000. If the walls are already open, you could probably get it done for like $10,000. And it depends on how big the house is. And also, you should have two panels, because if you have two separate units, you should have two separate panels. Because again, aluminum wiring, the issue with aluminum wiring is that the heat cannot transfer through aluminum properly, and it eventually causes a fire. That's why it eventually switches from aluminum to copper wiring, because copper can take, handles the heat better, and the copper's wrapped in rubber and a plastic covering. So it's less likely to burn. So sometimes you'll see when you take an outlet out, you'll see, oh look, there's aluminum wiring. But if you pull it out further, sometimes back further, they tied the copper to aluminum. So actually, what's really behind the wall is aluminum. They just make it look like it's copper up front, behind the plug.
Oh wow!
So you have to be since your walls are open, take the time and look at the wiring. If the wiring is aluminum, I strongly suggest you change it. And you're in the insurance. You're in the insurance business. You know, aluminum wiring is frowned upon. So,
yeah, I have we call the 4 R's: retrofit, rewiring, replumbing, and what is the third one? Re-roof.
So in Florida, we have what's called a 4-point inspection. Any property that's older than like 20 years, sometimes it's 30 years, has to get a 4-point inspection, which they check the roof, the plumbing, the electrical, and the AC. And they make sure that all of those are updated,
That passes. It looks like you got some great news, because your property just passes back to back.
Thank God. I'm very thankful. But I invested in the front end and I saved in the back end, and you make a lot of money. I owned that property for a long, long time, and I said, nope, I'm going to put in a ton of money. I'm redoing everything. And it's going to make it up in the back end, because if I bring up the rent $500 a unit times 7 units, that's $3,500 a month. And every $100 I increase the rent, that increases the property value $20,000. So my investment is going to increase the property value minimum $700,000. So it's worth spending the money to get that value add. I'll cash out refi when I'm done, pull out all my cash, and be in a significantly better position, because I don't have to remodel it again for another 30 years. But Nico, it
was good.
It was great talking to you, Nico. It's almost 11 o'clock my time. I think I've been on for like 2 hours?
Roughly, yeah.
Something. But what's awesome to see is that you guys, if you've been following the live events, Nico was live with me when he took the call to buy the duplex. We helped encourage him and walk him through the process. And now he's on the live event showing that he bought the duplex and he's remodeling. It works. Yes. It worked for me at 19. It's going to work for you. Anyone who applies the rules and concept, it will work. If you work, it will work. Nico is a great example of that. Thank you, Nico.
Yeah, well, Baz is a great example. I'm just following his example. So thank you to Baz, and you guys stay tuned, because this guy, he knows what he's talking about.
Thank you, Nico. Good night.
All right, you have a good night. God bless you.
God bless. So, guys, it's great seeing you all. I love seeing that you guys are successful. Remember, we go live every 2 weeks on Wednesday night. Tons of new videos coming to YouTube. So jump onto YouTube at Pascal Corcus. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications. And always smash the like button on IG and YouTube. And I appreciate that. That just shows a lot of love for what I'm doing. And again, the more friends that you know that are studying and learning, the more your circle gets stronger, and the easier that you all rise together. Now you're not trying to convince your friend to do this stuff. If you're all learning together, you all grow together. God bless you guys, and have a great night. Ah.